All right, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and we're starting a new series here. Going to be for members only for a while, and then my members, you guys, you get to choose when this goes out to the public. So if you are not a member and you're seeing this, it's since been released to the public. But I want to give you guys some advice that I think in a regular video probably would not get the clicks because it's not something that players get excited about, but I think it's really important. So we're going to talk about modding today, guys. And in particular, kind of why I learned to have such a great importance on modding, and to show you guys some of those things that play a factor into how you should be modding, and this ways that in reality here, mods with good secondaries can make up for relic levels. I know none of you believe me right now, but trust me, I'm going to show you how it's done. So first, the current channel members, let's give you guys a huge shout out. Of course, my title, the screens aren't loading. There we go. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support this channel. I want to push out more members only content for you guys in 2024. It's a personal goal I've set for myself. So this is the first one. We're going to call this Wampa's Ways, and we're going to talk about modding. Now, I've talked about some of these topics, but not in as much detail. So obviously we've got our king, Wampa. Just got to make sure that he's here, right? Got to always have our king in these videos. So early on in my Galaxy of Heroes journey, I was told farm speed mods. Just get as much speed as possible. So, hey, get as much speed as you could. But I had a lot of issues because I had a FIFO problem. And if you're an accountant, you know that FIFO means first in, first out. That I'd be the first one into battle, I'd be hitting them early, and then I'd be the first one dying too. Right? Aiden is the first one last out. I was the first one first out. I was just constant. I'd go first, and then I'd get obliterated once the enemy team took turns. And it sucked because I was like, why am I losing these battles? Like, I'm going first, and they were like, oh, well, you need to have better gear on your characters. And so I started gearing up my characters, but I was never going to catch my opponents in gearing. I knew that was never going to be a thing. And so what I started recognizing was, hey, you know what? I guess I'm going to switch the order of these things. So I started seeing, hey, you know what? I should maybe do 6 dots everywhere. If I can put 6 dot mods on my characters, I'm going to get additional stats, right? Just think of it, just look at it like this. And I'm going to show, let's go to 5 dot here just to make sure that we do it this way. So when I go here in the circle and I look at, there's a health mod. You go from 5.88% health to 16% health on a 6 dot mod. You're going up almost 3 times as much health there. Defense is going up almost half as much, 11.75 to 20. Offense is a boost of 5.88 to 8.5, so almost a 3% jump. Now, 3% doesn't sound like a lot, but you need to understand that it's a 3% boost from 5.8. It's a much bigger gap when you look at it that way. Because a lot of people would say, oh, well, going for critical damage goes from 36 to 42. That 6% is big. In the grand scheme of a 36 versus 42, it's not as big of a jump as going from 5.8 to 8.5. You guys got to believe me on that. You're getting a far better mod going from here to here than going from here to here. You got to believe me on that. Now, the other side to all this, and again, there's other ones here, but the big ones being like protection is like a garbage one. Protection, you get like a 0.5% protection, and the other ones, there's other increases that they're good. Tenacity gets more than potency, but like for me, the health, defense, and offense, defense, and health to me were the ones I really focused on the most. And I started to notice significant increases in my characters. That even with lower relics or lower gear, I was able to hit some of those numbers that my opponents had because I was using mods. And so as I began doing this, and as I began taking more and more mods to 6 dot, I began to realize just how much the other secondaries can matter. So I want to go back to Starkiller here because this was a good example that came up, was this mod I have on Droidica here. So I have this mod on Droidica. I gotta find it. Where's my Droidica? Actually, it better be searching if I go to Droidica. And again, guys, I know this is a little bit less organized than a Fat Phil video, but I'm trying to show you the way that my mind works and why I talk about mods so much. So I have this mod here. Yes. So this mod on Droidica has 1.93% offense with 5 rolls. So to a lot of you, you'd be like, that's nothing. Like, that's a garbage mod. You know, like that's not even any kind of good rolls. You know, look, Phil, you've got 2 rolls down here with 3% offense. That's correct. The thing is, though, when you look at this mod and you look at the offense, one slice gets me 0.85% to 1.7%. So look at that difference. 0.85 to 1.7 is the range there. That I can go from 0.85 to 1.7, which is huge. That's a massive, you know, that's a big gap. So that's how much offense you get from a single roll when a mod is at 6E. But when this mod is only at 5 dot, it's 0.28 to 0.56. So you're talking, you know, 3 times lower stats here compared to when it's down here, when it's 6 dot. So your secondary stats increase significantly going from 5 dot to 6 dot. Just look down here at health. 1% to 2% per slice. When you go down here, 0.5 to 1.13. So your health is going up significantly just by taking this mod to 6E. So all of your stats get better. The only stat that doesn't get better when you slice mods from 5 dot to 6 dot is speed. So let that sink in. Like speed, you get a single roll when it's a secondary, and then you get 2 of them when it's the primary. But they don't, you know, your 3s don't all become 6s. Like they stay the same. You get an extra speed. That's it. So these other secondary stats play a massive role with your characters, and they take them to places that otherwise they would not be able to compete at. To further demonstrate this, I'm going to show you a couple of my characters and compare them to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.gg. And I've shown these before, but I'm going to also show some other ones here. So let's start with, we're going to go to Fennec here. Right, where's Fennec at? Bounty Hunters and Fennec. Okay, so my Fennec is Relic 7. And her mods are pretty solid. We've got offense, protection with offense percent. Not crazy offense percent there. We've got more offense here, good offense there, and then we've got good speed. So I have a lot of speed on her. I would love if I could get more offense on this mod, but it's just never kind of panned out that way. So overall, we're looking at, 12.5%, or 12,500 offense on her. So when I go to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.gg, and I'll switch over my screen so you guys can see this. Let's make sure I can pop it over here. All right, so here's our girl Fennec. So when you go here and you look at the best mods, and it'll tell you, when you look at the Kyber, what you're going to see is that most players have the average Relic in Kyber is 7.62. So what that means is there are more players who have her at Relic 8 than Relic 7. There's enough players who have her at Relic 8 or above that is pushing her average above Relic 7. So then the average damage, look at the average damage here, special damage in Kyber, 10.012. So the average Fennec is Relic 7.5 with 10,000 special damage. Right? Let that sink in there. That 10,000 special damage at Relic 7.6, right? So if we go back to mine, we've got 12.5 with a Relic 7. And the reason we're able to do that is through, again, obviously the secondaries are helping, and then all the primaries we've got. But again, boosting above those numbers because of the importance of mods. Another one we'll show here, let's go to Star Killer. He'll be another one that we'll be able to use this comparison on. So Star Killer's mods here, we've got a lot of really good things. We've got offense up here, critical damage with offense with speed. We've got, again, more offense and health down here, health and offense percent, and then health, offense percent, some good speed, right? So we're looking at 86.52 for his physical offense. So let's switch back over here. And let's go here. And I know what you guys are wondering is why I'm just showing off my mods. What I'm showing you is that you can, with modding, so look at this Star Killer. The average Star Killer is almost Relic 8 in Kyber. So in Kyber, the average Star Killer is Relic 8 with 9,962 damage. So I'm way behind that, right? I am well behind all of these numbers because I'm well behind the relics. I'm almost 3 relics behind the average in Kyber. Let's go to a Rhodium, though, and you see the average relic is above where mine is. The average relic here is 5.25. Look at the health numbers and look at the damage numbers. Well below where my relic 5-star killer is. So I'm showing you this and saying, hey, you know, you bump this character up. If I bump this character up a few relic levels, I'd be well above these numbers because of the secondaries, right? We're not that far away from those numbers. I know it sounds like a lot, but I bump him up to those numbers, and at Relic 7, mine is going to have more offense than that, than players who have Relic 8-star killers. The reason that's important is I'm saving these extra relic levels that I don't need to use on a character like him because my mods are doing it for me. So I'm showing you all these examples and showing off because I'm trying to show you that in certain situations, it's far better to try and get your stats from your secondaries and your mods rather than relics. Because relics are what's going to propel you to these farms. When you're looking in your journey guide and you're trying to figure out what to do, being able to say that you have extra relics in the bag because you didn't have to put those on your Supreme Leader Kylo Ren or Rey because you invested in their mods rather than getting them to Relic 8, and now you can get Kenobi faster, or Leviathan, or Profundity. So, coming full circle here, guys, I know I've been rambling a lot, and I hope you guys see the value of this, that with mods, if you can focus on the secondary stats, not just the speed, because speed is only relative, right? Speed is only as important as that character needs it. Think of my Cal Kestis. Does Cal Kestis need speed? No, he wants the rest of these stats, right? So this mod is garbage to anybody else, but to, you know, baby Cal here, he loves this mod, right? You know, whereas my Captain Rex has, you know, 21 speed on potency. Does everybody love this mod? No. Does Captain Rex? Yes. So, again, mods are all about the character you're putting them on. I know some players will tell you go for speed. Speed is all that matters. That starts to get further and further from the truth when you think about the secondaries and the importance that they play. Because the way the game is shaping now, it's so much less about winning the speed battle and far more important of do you have the secondaries and everything else to win that fight. And the amount of fights that I win because I'm out secondarying my opponent is huge. Whenever I go into a grand arena now, guys, and I'm looking at mods, and I look at the comparison, you guys will notice I'm always under geared. I always normally have less mods, but then you look in that one small section that says offense percent. And I always take the cake there over my opponent, that I've got more offense percent secondaries because I've worked really hard at that. And if you looked at health and protection, you'd see a lot more of that with me as well. I got very picky and said, I want mods that are going to be good on my characters for the reasons that, hey, it's going to make that character a better character, like this one for Malak here, or, you know, like down in here, right? Like these stats all help Darth Malak. So yeah, it's not as fast as I would like, but the tenacity, the defense, the health, all of those things make him a better character. All that makes him better and allows me to say, hey, you know what? He doesn't need quite as much health, so I don't need to... I mean, I have him at Relic 9, so I guess it doesn't matter. Malak's a bad example. Ignore Malak because he's Relic 9. NPX, he's also Relic 9. And, God. There we go. Commander Luke. Gosh. Because the way I've modded my Commander Luke, I don't need as many relics on him as maybe other players do, or that the average Commander Luke here, let's take a look at my Commander Luke. We'll end on Commander Luke here to show you guys. I'm hoping that a lot of players, I would assume in Kyber, that Commander Luke is going to be above Relic 7. Let's see here. Oh, he's not. Wow. Hold on, guys. Let's take a look here. Look at the average in Kyber. The average Luke is not above Relic 7. It's Relic 6.7. Look at the damage, though. The damage is at 8.5. And tenacity of 70%. So I'm a little bit above the relic level, but look at my damage. 10,000 damage there. We've got 116% tenacity. So, you know, again, I know I'm showing off. Not really. I'm not trying to show off. I'm trying to show you that if you can get stats from your secondaries, then, and I guess maybe ending on Commander Luke was a good thing here. By me getting my stats from secondaries, my Relic 7 Commander Luke is how much further ahead than the other average players in Kyber. And that makes him a much more useful character to me. So those mods that you invest in, to wrap everything up, I know I've been rambling for a while, I apologize. By investing in your mods with these really good secondaries, as your characters increase in relic levels, because they will increase in relic levels, eventually your characters start increasing. That, like, my Darth Revan started at Relic 3, my Darth Malak started at Relic 5, my Commander Luke started at Relic 3, and they've worked their way up. This was a slow and steady process. This wasn't me doing it all at once. My Piet started at Relic 5. You know, like, they all get there eventually. So, by moving them up to these relic levels, those mods that have really good stats have increased in value as their character stats do. Because you think, you know, Commander Luke with this 4% offense. Well, on a Relic 3 Luke, that 4% is nice. On a Relic 5, it's really nice. On a Relic 7, it's even more nice. And on a Relic 9, it's even better than that. Because his number's getting higher, so the percent goes up. So that's the reason the percent stats, I mean, we talk about that a lot. That's why the reason percent stats get important is that they increase with more and more relic levels. But the big thing being, if you can save yourself the relics because you're getting the stats from the secondaries, you're going to be a much better player. So again, I know I rambled a lot. I want to get better with these, so I do apologize if this is kind of all over the place, but it's just my thoughts on modding that I don't always get to get out in videos that I know won't get clicks, but hopefully there's some good nuggets of knowledge in here for you guys. Again, first Wampa's Ways. Let me know your thoughts. I love all you. May the force be with you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.